Monday Town, good morning, and how are you, faithful? Captain Niner here with your Captain and Coffee Morning Report for January 28th, 2025. We actually had some good news for the Niners yesterday, so let's go ahead and get right into it. We found our special teams coordinator, special teams former Jets coordinator Brant Boyer is coming over from the Jets to become our new special coordinator. So the Kyle Shanahan loyalty program now extends to those once removed. So obviously he was the special teams coordinator for Robert Saleh while he was at the Jets. He was actually there at the Jets for three head coaching since 2016. I want to say is what it was. His special teams have always ranked pretty high up on the board. They had the 1 year where they were down, which was 2023, and that was because they went through a bunch of kickers and a bunch of injuries. So they just kind of like with us, with our at times we just didn't have anybody left to play those positions. But overall, I think this is a great hire. Excuse me. Up until then, obviously a lot of us wanted John Fossil. I kind of wanted to see Chris Tabor getting a shot at the job. But looking more into Brad Boyer seems to be he's very well liked by the players. Obviously, he played in the league as well, as we'll see here in a second. I'll play a clip from someone he played with when he was in the league. He played with Pat McAfee for a little bit, and so let's take a look at what Pat McAfee had to say about him.
You know they brought him to be their special teams coordinator?
Who?
Brant Boyer.
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
San Fran?
San Fran.
Holy shit.
Our guy.
This guy's a beast. He was at the Jets, and I think even the Jets fans would say there was a lot that went wrong with our team.
Pat
Our
loves
special
this
teams
guy.
is great. Blocking kicks, taking kicks to the house, throwbacks, you name it. Boyer's a dog. He played in the NFL 13 years as a teamer, I believe, back whenever it was CTE era. And he's wedge buster, this guy, as a teamer.
old school.
Absolute beast. Stud. Great coach. Players love him because he was a player and he has that mentality, but he's obviously very good at his gig. So you got Shanahan, Salah, and Boyer. That is a great setup for the Niners to bounce back. Christian McCaffrey just going to be okay.
We'll see.
Achilles tendonitis is just going to be
Can
all
they
right.
keep their roster together too? Can they keep everybody, or are they going to lose anybody big?
That's the convo with Purdy now. Is like if they pay him normally that first year, right? Because
maybe.
you can front load it.
All right, we'll go ahead and pause it there for the rest of it because they start talking about Purdy stuff and everything. We're not trying to get into that today. But yeah, so as you can tell, he's a guy that played in the league, special teams guy. For those of you who don't remember those wedge busters back when kickoffs were extremely violent, basically you took somebody and you just ran down there as fast as possible. The return guys would just kind of make a little wedge and try to run in the direction. And so his job was basically to run as hard as you can and break that wedge so somebody else can make a tackle. So yeah, old school tough guy. I'm liking the more I see it, the more I like of it. Good hire. So we've got our coaching staff, or at least the main coaching staff position. We'll see how it fills out with the rest of the defensive side and the special coordinator side. Still waiting on the announcement of Clay Kubiak to be officially named as a special teams coordinator. I don't see why that would change. I mean, other than the fact of the NFL said that you have to do interviews because of Rooney Rule stuff, but even I know they did interview Noah Pauley from Iowa State, so they kind of fulfilled it, but it's kind of a weird rule because it wasn't the position that was there before. But either way, I'm still expecting Clay Kubiak to be named the offensive coordinator, and hopefully we get all those announcements in full and totality from the team. Hopefully this week, get it done and over with. Going into next week, and then we can definitely start working on looking at some of the stuff for the Senior Bowl for this weekend, which I got a couple players for you guys to look at, the Combine, and then the draft, obviously. All right, so just want to say congratulations to our former coach. According to Tom Pelissero, Nick Sorensen is going to be hired by the Cowboys as their next special teams coordinator. Not our problem. The Cowboys just seem to be in an utter mess right now. They hired a offensive coordinator as their head coach who didn't call plays as an offensive coordinator. Um, it just seems to be a mess. Jerry doesn't know what he's doing down there from what everybody's saying. But yeah, I don't necessarily wanted to see him lose a job, but Nick Sorensen was just not a fit with this organization anymore. But yeah, just want I know how everybody felt about Sorensen, so just want to throw that out there. And then a couple of players to look at in the Pro Bowl. One of my favorites is Deion Walker, defensive tackle out of Kentucky. This kid is 6'6", 348 pounds. supposedly runs in the high fours, like a 4.7, 4.8, 40, which would be impressive. If he runs that at the combine, he probably shoots up to be, more likely a first, second round pick kind of a thing. But right now, he led the nation in pressures last year. Especially in 51 of them coming from the interior. So, like I said, just a huge kid, just monstrous, has good hands. The problem is the downside of him seems to be that he gets a little bit lazy at times at his size, and I'm not sure if that's just due to a lack of cardio, and just not quite in shape at his size. But you know what? Get him in the NFL locker room. Get him those guys. Have him work out with Bosa. I'd love to see Bosa get a hold of him for an offseason and see what happens. And another guy that's probably a little bit down lower on the list is going to be offensive tackle Chase Lunt out of Connecticut. Tall, reminds me a lot of a Mike McGlinchey. I know a lot of people absolutely hated Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey was an actual legit good tackle. He's going to be in the league for 10 plus years because he is good. Yes, he had his issues, but maybe hopefully with someone, with like this, because he's 6'8", 305 pounds. I'd love to see him put on about 10, 15 more pounds. He's got the long arms that you want. Again, he's a little slim, so he can get buckled with some of the guys that are more of the power rushers. But the speed rushers, he seems to do pretty good with. He's able to get his hands out there and push those guys out to keep them on the outside. So those two guys for you look at. I'll try and give out one defensive and one offensive guy each day that'll be at the Senior Bowl. Don't forget, we have two coaches there in August Mengen, our special teams quality coach, and he's obviously going to be doing the special teams. And then our defensive quality coach, KJ Wright, is also there. He will be working with the linebackers and edges, and we'll hopefully get some up close look with someone like Deontay Walker, and hopefully with Chase Lunt too as well, because he's they're going to be practicing those offensive guys. As far as Niner Faithful Radio, today we are going to be doing our show at 4:30. Might be a little bit late because TJ is working, and then I have an interview today. I shouldn't be late, but we'll see how traffic is getting back. About that time when I'm done with my interview, it's going to be a little crazy getting out of that area. But so that'll be today at 4:30. I'll put everything up here as soon as we get those made. And until this afternoon, faithful, fa fitai te lava, one love.